I want to welcome everyone. I just wanted to introduce myself. I am Margaret Schoeninger, one of the co-directors of CARTA, along with Ajit Varki from the School of Medicine and Rusty Gage, who is from the Salk Institute and was very sorry he could not be here today. I would also like to introduce our Associate Director, Pascal Gagnon, and also our Management Services Officer, Linda Carlson. We all welcome you and are very pleased to see you here today for what we think will be a very exciting symposium. I just wanted to explain a little bit about what we are and what we do. CARTA is the Center for Advanced Research and Training in Anthropogeny, and anthropogeny is a term used for the investigation into the origin of humans. And the person organizing the symposium today, Dr. James Moore, will be just talking very briefly about the origin of humans and some very exciting new discoveries today that have just been released today. CARTA has a particular mission, and I just wanted to tell you our mission statement. That is that we use all rational and ethical approaches to seek all verifiable facts from all relevant disciplines, and I think you can see I'm from anthropology, Ajit is from the School of Medicine, Rusty Gage is from Salk. We are from all across the map. We are from all relevant disciplines to explore and explain the origins of the human phenomenon. I want to give a special thanks to our major sponsors, the G. Harold and Lila Y. Mathers Charitable Foundation, and especially to the director of that foundation, Mr. James Handelman. I'd also like to thank Annette Merle Smith, who has helped with funding these symposia. And again, a special thanks to Pascal Gagnon and to Jamie Simon of the Salk Institute for these glorious posters that we have. We'd like to thank our MSO and Linda Carlson and Amy Patterson, who is our administrative assistant, who did a great deal in putting this together today. So I will turn this now over to Dr. James Moore, who is the organizer of this symposium on culture as a phenomenon across various animal species.
Well, welcome to this symposium on human and non-human cultures. In a review of the concept of culture in 1952, Kroeber and Klockham came up with 162 different definitions of culture. I imagine that in the last 50-plus years, we've probably come up with a few more rather than reduce the number. Today, I think we're going to use a fairly, well, we'll use a number of definitions, I'm sure, but fairly broad ones in order to illuminate the functions of this nebulous concept, and then in particular to see what sets us apart from our culture apart from the behaviors that are apparently culture-like in non-humans. I want to set the scene for this with a little episode in the study of the evolution of human uniqueness, and that has to do with vervet monkey alarm calls.
Apart from man, no other animal in the wild has been shown to use so many different word-like alarm calls. A call that means danger from the air. And the vervets run into the denser branches where the eagle won't pursue them for fear of damaging its wings. From the safety of the thorny branches, the vervets scream furiously, and one is even brave enough to launch a lightning attack. Monkeys are not the only ones to be fearful of the eagle. So are small birds, such as the superb starling. Vervets understand the starling's vocabulary. The bird shrieks a warning, "Shh! Danger on the ground," and the monkeys repeat it using their own term, and everyone runs for it. So vervets with such a wide vocabulary of alarm calls show that sound can carry a great deal of vital information.
This wide variety, mind you, is 3 different alarm calls. And for that, vervet monkeys made it into most of the textbooks. If you've had biological anthropology, you've had something like this where it talks about the language capacities of humans, and then, well, of course, it all starts with vervet monkeys. A few years after this, the vervet work was published in Science in 1980 and Animal Behavior in 1993, we had an avian example. Oddly, this paper has not made it into the textbooks and is not as widely known, maybe because they only have 2 different predator alarm calls rather than 3. The message here is that if we're trying to understand the human phenomenon, it's a mistake to stop at our closest relatives, because if we do that, we miss out on behaviors that are at least functionally similar in other taxa that can help us, by looking at that functional similarity, also then pay attention to the mechanism. Is the chicken alarm call learned in the same way that a vervet alarm call is learned? Is it shaped in the same fashion? The ontogeny of the call during development, and also the phylogenetic history, which is of interest to us. So by looking across a wider variety of species, I hope to encourage the approach to looking at all 4 of these levels of explanation, these types of explanation, to better understand what is it that really makes ours quite different. Now, before introducing the speakers, I just wanted to mention, for those of you who haven't heard about it, or for those who have, yesterday the special issue of Science magazine with 11 different articles on the Ardipithecus ramidus. This is work coming out of Tim White's lab. He's been carefully guarding the secret of what it's been that they've been finding for years. Turns out a partial skeleton and a whole lot of other fossils of this 4.4 million year old hominid. It's very exciting stuff. It looks like the common ancestor of humans and chimpanzees was not a knuckle walker, didn't look like a chimp, was a biped. They're making the case, and I take this opportunity to just point out the forest there. That's a modern forest that, based on analysis of fauna, fossil plants, phytoliths, that's sort of the habitat it's thought that Ardipithecus ramidus lived in. This is where I work in Tanzania. So I'm a happy camper right now. All right. We're going to start off with an overview of human cultural universals by Donald Brown. Rupert Stash was going to talk about cultural reflexivity. Susan Perry looking at cultural traditions in capuchin monkeys. Tim Wright, who is not on the original schedule, but we're very glad that he could make it, is going to address parrot dialects. And that's a special privilege because Tim was a graduate student here, and just a couple of years ago I was on his committee. It's been more than a couple. We'll have a break then, and the refreshments are outside. Peter Tyak talking about vocal learning in parrots and dolphin. His major research is in dolphin, but he's going to address the comparison with parrots. Hal Whitehead, sperm whale cultures. Andrew Whiten on children and chimpanzees. For those of you who have children or chimpanzees, there's often a lot of overlap there. And Jonathan Friedman will be talking about culture as emergent order. And in order to cover this breadth in the time available, I'm afraid we're not going to have time for questions. You can probably buttonhole speakers during the break or afterwards. And finally, to reiterate appreciation for support from the May This Charitable Foundation and from Annette Merle Smith.